networks.
Of a rural internet break.
Up on the screen behind you. And this is going to be the residence of the first network we built, telling you a little bit about what it's like. And then I'll just fill in for a couple of minutes and explain what we do.
Rutland is at the forefront, believe it or not, of a rural internet breakthrough.
Hamilton, on the shores of Rutland Water, has had a state-of-the-art fibre optic connection installed. Sound like I know what I'm talking about there, don't I? Which has vastly improved broadband speeds. Paul Bradshaw went along to find out more.
The web famously is worldwide, but this is Hambleton, standing lonely on a finger of land on Rutland Water. It's an unlikely place for a digital revolution, but that's exactly what's happening here.
Because it's fibre essentially end to end, from where you connect in your house all the way out to the internet, it's fibre all the way. It means it's much more reliable and predictable and doesn't fade off in the afternoons or when it starts to rain.
Despite the government go-ahead to roll out super-fast broadband in Rutland, locals here have found the money for the upgrade themselves. And the landlord at the Finch's Arms says it's made a big difference to trade.
It's improved our business significantly. We're getting businessmen who will stay, they can work on the computers. This is the way the world is going now. And people who stay away for a couple of nights want to bring the computer with them so they can keep in contact with the businesses even though they're away for a couple of days.
The network speed over at Finch's Arms is 63 megabits per second. That's faster than Gigaclear.
Locals are thrilled.
60 houses in the village, over 40 have taken the service, and behind 40 doors there are people with little smiles on their faces.
Some of my friends I live in South America, so I could be on Skype to them. We can believe in like Hambleton, and you could be Skyping someone that's in South America or somewhere like in Australia, some of my relatives and stuff.
I do a little bit of work from home, so that's made everything a lot easier now. No dropouts, everything's there straight away.
So beneath this sleepy road in Rutland, there's an information superhighway helping those off the beaten track be online. Paul Bradshaw, East Midlands Today, Rutland.
Yes, welcome to our world. Paul.
With a bad joke from the BBC. So we build pure fibre access networks. The one in Hamilton was rate limited, as they said, to 80 megabits a second, so they were seeing 67, I think, in the pub that day. The next three networks we're building, one's in Rutland, one down in Oxfordshire and one in Wales, are all full gigabit networks, so all with, frankly, 1,000 megabits a second symmetric connections to the internet, so much faster than anyone can actually use today. But the reason they want a better network is because of the applications that they were talking about there. So the key things that we look for in communities that we come to are communities that are running, with a number of small businesses in them who want to stay in the community. You have an awful lot of home workers. Some of the communities we go to, over half of the properties have home workers there, people who telecommute, work from home, run small businesses, secondary businesses from home, that type of thing. And finally, actually there's a consumer demand which is typically driven off teenagers. But there are many of us, of course, who, once you get a much better connection to the internet, love things like iPlayer and Netflix and love film and VoIP telephony and video conferencing and all those other things that you can immediately do with it, just like that. Backing up your PCs, uploading 500 photos to get them developed at Kodak, it just happens instantly. It transforms the way you live your life. And what we look for in a community, in Hambleton, yes, they had to put up the money themselves. I'm delighted to say that isn't a model we have to repeat. We're now in the position where we put up the money. But what we do require from the community are a few things. Firstly, we need the support of the parish council and the local landowners. We also, not quite as much as Chris, but we do also use fields, and that means we need wayleaves and easements from landowners in order to actually get the fibre to the community and around the community. The second thing we need is at least 30% of the community agreeing to take the service. So an easy question for you would be, well, how much does it cost? So straightforwardly, £37 a month is the service charge, £100 is the connection fee, and for most people, the installation fee is £85. And then, of course, for businesses or people who want higher value services, more bandwidth higher commitments, SLAs, and those types of things, we charge extra as well. But most people take the general service. So it's a 30% of the communities, of the properties in the community we're looking for commitment from. So if it's a 500 properties in that community, we'd be looking for 150 of them to actually pre-commit to take service, and we then come and we build the network, roll it out, and run it and operate it for the community. So that's probably enough now for full Q&A, I would think.
Okay.